Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of The Bullet. My name is Paul Lathrop. I'm the Deputy Director of New Media for the Second Amendment Foundation. Joining me today, good friend coming from the East Coast state of Utah, Charlie Cook of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. How's it going today, man?
It's going great, man. Happy New Year. It's great to be on in 2023 with you.
I'm glad I made it to 2023, man. Yeah, it's good to be here. Dude, we got a lot of news to get to. Let's get started with this. You're just gonna go right off the bat. Well, as I normally do, if you got comments about anything we're talking about, comment on either the live Facebook or the live YouTube video. If you're watching anywhere else, go to Twitter, tweet with the hashtag #TheBullet. We'll get those and we'll get them on the air as well. But make sure, again, the hashtag #TheBullet, all one word. And, man, let me ask this before I'm gonna, because we've got a little bit of news, but we're going to have some time to fill later. I'm going to front end it. Have you kept all your New Year's resolutions, man?
You know, this is how I know how I am, and I know that writing them down is the hardest part, and I haven't done that yet. I have things I'm like, oh, I should do this. Oh, I should do this. Oh, I should do that. Oh, I got to put this on my list, but I haven't put anything down. So I have. I think I worked out one day, and that killed my back for about 4 days. So I'm like, all right, so much for working out and losing a couple of pounds.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If I don't make any New Year's resolutions, then I can't break them, right? That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, absolutely. Go here. Give me a second. Let's get some comments in here. Even though we don't have any news to talk about yet, we've got John Petrolino checking in.
Ahoy hoy.
I want to go straight to one of John's articles. Man, I don't even know. I don't know if it's in the lineup for today or not. I know it's in the lineup for Polite Society podcast last night. We're going to be talking about a John Petrolino article, and I'm going to quote him right now. Big whoop. So yeah, we've got we've got things about Petrolino to talk about here. Either if not now, in about an hour. So.
You know the great thing about John when he's out doing his job a month at a time is when he's at work he cranks out so much material and so many articles. Mm-hmm. It's really unbelievable. He's like, did you read this one? Did you read this one? I'm like, dude, I can't keep up.
Yeah. Theoretically, it's supposed to take less time to read them than it does to write them, but he challenges people, man. He really cranks that stuff out.
Yeah, he does, which is great. I mean, it's obviously the least I could do is take a few minutes to read the article after he puts hours into doing research.
All right, let's go ahead and get started today. We've got a release from Second Amendment Foundation. A federal judge in New Jersey has granted a temporary restraining order in a case brought by the Second Amendment Foundation and several co-plaintiffs in a challenge of the state's new gun control law, which criminalizes carry in a vastly expanded set of sensitive areas. U.S. District Judge Renee Marie Bum in Camden. And the side note here, we're getting some really unique names in judges that are deciding these cases. We've got Bum here. We got Sinatra was here a few weeks ago. Right. We're getting some really unique names. But anyway, Judge Bum noted plaintiffs have demonstrated a probability of success on the merits of their Second Amendment challenge to the relevant provisions of the new law. SAF is joined by Firearms Policy Coalition, CNJFO, NJ2AS, and 3 private citizens. Also, in her opinion, Bum observed the state may regulate conduct squarely protected by the Second Amendment only if supported by historical tradition of firearm regulation. Here, the plaintiffs has shown that defendants will not be able to demonstrate a history of firearm regulation to support any of the challenged provisions. The deprivation of the plaintiff's Second Amendment rights, such as holders of valid permits from the state to conceal carry handguns, constitutes irreparable injury, and neither the state nor the public has an interest in enforcing unconstitutional gun laws. And the press release does go on from there, but Charlie, I want to just look up, make sure I don't have just you solo on the screen for 7 minutes again. But again, Bruin decision, the gift that keeps on giving. This judge noted that, look, Bruin says text, history, and tradition, none of that is here, and I'm going to grant this injunction because SAF and the others are likely to win.
You know, Bruin really is, it's the Jelly of the Month Club. I mean, it just keeps on giving and giving and giving. And sorry, I should have waited for you to stop drinking.
No worries. Jelly of the Month Club, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it keeps on giving, right? It's like in the Christmas Vacation. It's the gift that gives all year, Clark. This is great that this is coming out of New Jersey, because there's so many times when we've heard people say, well, if you don't like New Jersey, just get up and leave and move to Pennsylvania and everything like that. And then when we finally start to see some common sense, it's got to vindicate the people that are staying and fighting.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see here. I'm not going to be able to, I don't think, click that. But Petrolino apparently has another article up that he wanted to link. And let me see if I can get... Yes, I can. This appears to be the written judgment that we were talking about. So
very cool. John just sent me a message and said they're supposed to hear ANJRPC's move for a TRO, which was supposed to be today. So they're going to be doing that on Thursday. So hot off the press from the Penn Patriot.
All right, and I just popped it both back into. I don't know if that was Facebook originally. I also put it over on YouTube. So next story, and thank you, John, for putting that up. Next story I want to get to, and this is also a press release today. This is from the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms. That's a sister organization to SAF. And for immediate release, January 9th, headlined by Tim McGraw, Reba McEntire, Faith Hill, and Taylor Swift, 19 prominent country music artists have been added to the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms gun prohibitionist list. The list of performers, obviously tone deaf to their core audience as well as oblivious to the Second Amendment, have clearly declared disdain for reasonable self-defense according to the website Taste of Country. Their names have been included in the list of Don't Feed the Gun Prohibitionists, an ongoing project of the CCR-KBA, alerting gun owners and citizens of those who donate to anti-gun control entities or who publicly speak out against basic liberties. You know, I wish I could say this is coming as a shock. My musical tastes personally, when I was a young man up until, I suppose just barely out of high school, I was a rock and roll person. Specifically, I was a hard rock person. That changed when rock and roll died, and I can tell you the exact moment rock and roll died. When Nirvana released their big album with the baby on the cover,
Never mind.
Yes, when Nirvana released Nevermind, rock and roll died instantly. There was no CPR. There was no. It was 1990, and Nirvana released it the next day. The funeral was held for rock and roll. It was gone forever. Country music I started listening to around that time, and it died, I want to say 2005 or so, when Bro Country started coming out. I don't have the exact album for that, but it was auto-tune, voices, and that was all of the music. It was a snap track. That's not country. That's when country music died. Now, I listen to jazz if I'm listening to new music. So,
very cool. I love that we're talking about music. I wasn't a rocker when I was in school. I listened to big band jazz because I wanted to be a jazz musician, and I eventually, after I got out of school and I started playing in a Motown disco funk band, I started to listen to more music. Not that I didn't listen to it. I started to appreciate it a little bit more. I watched a YouTube video the other day from a musician, and he talked about when Cher came out with "Do You Believe in Love and Love?" And that's I know. Sorry about that.
You did a better job. Sorry.
That's when the auto tuning started, and that's when he thinks that's when it destroyed everything. But I'm kind of with you. Like, I appreciate some country music. There's some stuff that I don't appreciate, like the pop music. I don't really appreciate that. But getting back to trying to bring back to our topic here, it's tough when these popular artists come out against our rights. But of course, when we've got Ted Nugent or Charlie Daniels or Aaron Lewis that talks about our right to bear arms, then we kind of dig it. But there's probably a part of me that says, you know what, just sing some songs and do that job of singing and dancing and entertaining us, and let us enjoy your music and all that. We don't have to get into politics with these people. I don't want to hear about Bruce Springsteen's politics. I
don't want to hear Bruce Springsteen, period. But
I hear you. I hear you. I love the Clarence Clemens on the saxophone, of course. But I just do what you do, man. And I hate saying you should only stay in your lane about things, but it would be nice if they just sang.
It would be wonderful, and I want to put that to actors too. If you're going to be an actor, just act. Don't come out with your politics. Otherwise, anyway, let me get comments.
Right. I mean, yeah.
The Spartan 6, funny how Faith Hill and Tim McGraw have no problem with guns when they're acting in the series prequel to Yellowstone and using them in extremely violent ways. Yeah, I would agree. Roderick says, no one wants to pay for their soapbox to stand on. And I love this comment from Pete over at Gum Websites. Used to only listen to trumpet solos on YouTube, but then some guy started shooting guns during the videos.
Nice. Thanks, Pete.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. If you're going to be an actor, act. If you're going to be a musician, play, and do your music. You're risking, if you open up politically, you're risking on. And let's face it, if I were a musician, I'd keep my support to the right and keep and bear arms silent, because I don't want to lose the 30 to 40% of people who don't want me to have a right to keep and bear arms. I want them to buy my music too. I want them to go see the movies and the TV shows I'm into. I don't want I don't want to separate a large group of my audience, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, totally, totally. And someone that's been great about that is Dolly Parton.
Yes.
She comes out and she's like, "I'm not talking politics. You do what you want to do," but she's gonna do her job of writing songs and performing, which is wonderful. And I get so much more respect for those people who say, I'm not going to get into this. I'm not going to let my politics dictate what I do, because then, it's to me, it's we're against the cancel culture until we're for the cancel culture, right?
Yeah.
Like if somebody comes out and wants to cancel the Dixie Chicks because they said something bad about President George Bush, then okay, maybe we jump on that because we're not necessarily fans of the Dixie Chicks, and they're going out talking bad about an American president in another part of the country. But when
they were in England at the time, but okay.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, out of the country. Sorry.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? When they say stuff we want to hear, we like to hear it. When they say stuff we don't want to hear, we don't want to hear it. And if they could just, didn't somebody write a book? Who was the blonde lady? Wasn't Emily Miller? It was the other one.
No, but I remember the book. Just Shut Up and
Laura,
Play.
Yes, Shut Up and Play. Exactly. So just do what your job is, and enjoy what you've got, because when you come out and speak out about something, people might get upset. People are going to get upset on one side or the other, and then you're going to lose a fan base. Laura Ingraham.
Yeah.
That's who it was.
You're just a little bit faster than me.
That's all right. And I do think it's great that, staying with the theme here, Taylor Swift has a lot of songs about how she's made bad decision in men, and then she goes out and supports Joe Biden. So.
All right. Well, we burned up over half the show. Let's talk a little bit about the news stories that hit today. I got this one off Fox 2 Detroit. Macomb County Prosecutor Pete Lucido has a new policy on guns. If someone commits a felony while holding a gun, it would mean 2 years in prison, but his tough on guns approach is getting a lot of backlash and skepticism. Excuse me. What one gun range out there is saying is, look, if you get into a car in this county, you do not, and there's a weapon in the glove box. Let's say there's a handgun in the glove box, and a kid gets into Dad's car. Dad gave him the keys, gave him permission to drive it. Kid doesn't have a concealed carry permit. Kid gets a felony. 2 years. Period. I'm going to say to this prosecutor, look, how about you keep these felons locked up for their sentence, or maybe prosecute them for all you can. Quit backing off on these plea deals, and when you can get somebody for 50 years, give them a plea deal of 40. Give them a plea deal of 35. Don't let them out in 3. Keep them locked up for all you can, and that's going to do more than just an additional 2 years for committing a felony with a firearm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, why should they come up with more laws and regulations when they can't enforce the ones that they have? I mean, for years ago, I remember listening to a guy on the radio that said there's 22,000 gun laws on the books, and we can't enforce the ones that we have, so we need more gun laws to not enforce?
Yeah.
So if somebody's committing a felony while they're holding a gun, okay, get them, give them 2 years. But give them 2 years. Don't be like, we'll give you 2 years, but we'll plea bargain it down. Plead guilty to the crime of robbery or whatever, and we'll dismiss the gun charges. Yeah, no. When you hear about the sentences that have a mandatory minimum sentence and they don't get the mandatory minimum sentence, then it's not mandatory or minimum, or even a sentence. Right.
You're exactly right.
Leaves us all with a question here. What the hell's going on?
Well, it's laziness. I mean, plain and simple, it is laziness. If you can get somebody for armed robbery stick them behind bars for 25 years, and you plea it down to disorderly conduct, and they get 6 months. You know,
Yeah.
does it suck for 6 months? Yes. Is it a slap on the wrist compared to what they were charged with? Really, no, it really isn't. So,
Yeah. Cam Edwards likes to call it the deal of the day.
yes, yes. And back when he had Cam and Company on NRA News, I used to listen to that every day when I was driving truck. It was among my podcasts I had to catch every day. Let's get, and here's the John Petrolino article that Gabby Franco. Now this, she originally posted a picture on LinkedIn, and I gotta say I have LinkedIn. And I'm the only reason, and I mean this, the only reason I have LinkedIn, I'd forgotten I even had it until Rick Ector said you need to connect with me on LinkedIn, and it was while I was in Detroit, and it's almost a grabbing me by the shoulders and saying, get on LinkedIn and link to me now. You know, okay, Rick, all right, I'll do that. But I until last year, I guess I had it. I just really didn't utilize LinkedIn, and yet LinkedIn, when Gabby Franco posted some pictures, they banned her, or they locked her post down. And so what did she do? She went over the pictures and she covered up the guns and reposted the picture with her with 2 gun-shaped ink marks and said, well, here, this means the same thing. Good on Gabby, and good on Petrolino for finding this. And again, if he used the term big whoop in his story, and I think that's the first time I've ever seen a journalist use that, ever. So
yeah, it was a good article about how she was shadow banned on YouTube last year, and this year she's getting it from LinkedIn. You know, they're squelching her freedom of speech, which is what she's talking about when she talks about what life was like in Venezuela and why she left Venezuela.
And I'm going to right now go over, and I hope you're still catching us, John. I'm going to go ahead and pop the link over on social media. Let me get this comment in here from Gun Websites. When we hear that most gun crime is just in a few counties in the USA, you add catch and release policing, you get a few repeat criminals creating a bunch of the numbers they use against us. You know what, Pete? You're absolutely right. That is 100% true. Especially if you consider most of the gun crime that I've been able to find is not gun crime, it's gang crime. And it's prevalent in these catch and release cities. And I'm not going to blame the police, it's the prosecutors, it's the judges. It's not the police.
Yeah, I mean, the police go out there and try to get these people off the street, and then they end up in the court system, and the court system is the one that fails us.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's see here. One more story. Oh, yeah, we're at 24 minutes. Okay. One more story here, and this is a Cam Edwards, speaking of Cam Edwards story off Bearing Arms. Illinois Democrats have until midday Wednesday to get HB 5855 to Governor J.B. Pritzker's desk before the lame duck legislation expires. This passed the House, went to the Senate, and the Senate kind of is giving a lighter version that the House doesn't want to do. The House basically wants a 12-round limit on magazines, and if you got one now you don't get a grandfather, you have to get rid of that magazine. They want a The Senate wants to give anybody that owns a assault weapon 300 days after the law passes to register with the state police. The House doesn't want that. You have to get rid of it. The House is more woke. The Senate's saying, yeah, and it looks like, it's Monday night now. Excuse me. Sorry, it's Monday night now. They've got until Wednesday afternoon to get to the governor. I'm hoping they bicker about it and don't get it done.
It's all the same ridiculousness. In Connecticut, they did the assault weapon ban a couple years ago, and it didn't do anything. You had to either turn them in or register them, and people didn't do it, and it didn't change anything. Crime was still crime. People had these. People that had them didn't turn them in, and I don't blame them for that. Absolutely not. Why should something that you have legally today be illegal tomorrow, just because for something that you didn't do? And I feel the same thing with the magazine restrictions. 10 or 12 magazines. Who makes a 12-round magazine? It's what, like it's 10 rounds and then 15 or 17 rounds, and then you jump up to the stick on a Glock with 33 rounds. And I'm obviously talking handguns here, but there's not a lot of 12-round magazines. So what is this really going to get us? It's going to get us nothing, but it's going to appease the anti-gun folks. And once we appease them, they'll say, good, we can come back next year and we can go for a 10-round magazine. And then we can come back in the next year and come back after an 8-round magazine. And then we're going to come back for a 7-round magazine. And then it's going to be a 5-shot revolver. And you're going to turn into the whole, you shouldn't have a double-barrel shotgun because 3 guys broke into your house and you can only fire at them twice.
Give me 1 second here. I'm going to step off camera.
All right. What could Paul be doing? We don't know. It sounds like he's up to something. He's making a smart decision by doing this off of camera.
Well, what I wanted to do is grab one of these. Now, as you can see, this is you can't. You maybe can or cannot. This is a standard capacity magazine for an AR. I had to pull it out of the AR that was just over there a second ago, off camera. But one thing I found out is this right now is loaded with 223 ammo. However, it holds 30 rounds right now. However, it will also, if somehow there's a 15-round magazine limit that goes through, this holds 15 rounds of 50 Beowulf. Perfectly.
That is the new math that Al Gore used to talk about, right? No, he talked about fuzzy math, sorry. New math is the core curriculum nonsense.
But, I don't know. It just... The whole magazine thing is... Did they have a limit on the number of muskets you could have? I know they had puckle guns back in the Revolutionary War. I know they had multiple barreled weapons, and there was no limit on them. My one problem that I may have with the 50 Beowulf, but you're not going to be able to see it, I'm pretty sure. And I'll put just me up there. I don't know if it's going to be able to show up on the camera, but I think you can see 5.56 by 45 on the mag there. So me claiming it's a 50 Beowulf mag may or may not work, but I know that's what the Canadians did for quite a while. So,
good call, eh?
Yeah. Anyway, let's see here. Where are we at? Oh, we're at 29 minutes plus.
It is almost time. We got to call it.
So, Charlie, tell us about riding Shotgun with Charlie. Tell us about writing Shotgun with Charlie, and anything else you want to talk about, man.
All right. Well, if people have not subscribed to the Writing Shotgun with Charlie YouTube channel, please do. I'm going to be putting out a show tomorrow with Frank Scavo, who is with the Coalition for Election Integrity, and he was one of the people that got himself in a heap of trouble for going in the Capitol on January 6th, just over 2 years ago. So that's a good conversation that's
From
going
your
to be coming out
calendar.
tomorrow.
Alexa, stop. Sorry.
And that's okay. And then Writing Shotgun with Charlie, Armed Lifestyle Magazine, the new issue is going to be coming out very, very soon. And I've got a lot of work I need to do for that as well. So I'm a busy guy.
All right. CloverTack's telling me, just get magazines that are not marked. They make them. Okay, but I didn't. This one is, so, I'll have to get something other than PMags. Although I love PMags, they're light and they're durable as hell.
Well, they're not legal here in occupied territory.
I'm not in occupied territory.
I know. I do want to send a special shout out to G-Webs and the CloverTack and Ghost Tactical. G-Webs won a SIRT pistol a couple months ago from the show that Matt Mallory and I do, and he actually donated that to a giveaway that CloverTack and Ghost Tactical were doing, and so it's great to see that that these guys are out there paying it forward, and I didn't win. I didn't win. I watched the show the other night when they had the drawing, but that's okay. But this is what gun folks do, man. We're all good folks, helping each other and supporting each other.
Absolutely. Robert says we need to break out the tar and feathers, and CloverTech says Lancer mags are great for alternative calibers like 50 Beowulf and 458 Silcon. So,
all right.
Yeah, let's see here. We do have to shut this down. We are 26 minutes and change away from doing Polite Society podcast. Wherever you're catching this right now, you can catch us here in just a little bit doing Polite Society podcast. If I can get my chest to clear up. So, Pete over at Gun Websites. Again, I tried to put in the fix in for you, Charlie.
Thanks, Pete. I appreciate it.
Alrighty. Please do, folks, come join us in 30 minutes for Polite Society. We're going to shut this down for now. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time.